The locker room was cold. Ava stood frozen, hoodie clenched at the neck as three girls circled her like vultures. One reached for the fabric. "Let's see what you're hiding under there." They didn't know. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know. The woman who raised her wore a judge's robe. She didn't know her father had built a billion-dollar empire from scratch. And they definitely didn't know. This time, they messed with the wrong girl. This is the story behind Bullies threatened to tear the new girl's shirt. Unaware her mum's a judge and dad a billionaire. Comment the name of your city if you're watching. Ava had never stood out before. Not in New York, where she was born. Not at her last school, where her curls blended in and her confidence wasn't misunderstood. But now, in the quiet suburb of Holston Creek, she stood out in every way. It wasn't just her brown skin in a sea of mostly white faces. It wasn't just the name brand, clothes, or the sleek car that dropped her off each morning. It was the way she walked with posture and purpose, like someone who knew who she was. To the teachers, she was polite and articulate. To the students, she was too much, too smart, too well-dressed, too confident. Some whispered the word diva. Others used sharper terms behind her back. What? No one knew. What Ava had promised to keep to herself was who her parents really were. Her mother was a powerful federal judge known for landmark civil rights rulings. Her father is the CEO of one of the nation's top tech firms. But Ava didn't want attention for that. She wanted a fresh start, a normal school experience, maybe even a few real friends. But Holston Creek wasn't built for girls like Ava to blend in. Whispers turned into glares. Glares turned into mocking. Still, she held her head high until the day things went too far. The first day she wore her mother's old college hoodie, Harvard Law faded red print, was the first day someone decided to test her. She didn't know it yet, but a storm was coming. And it wouldn't stop at words. It started during lunch. Ava had just sat down when she noticed them. Three girls from the cheer squad whispering and glancing her way. Lexi, the ringleader, leaned against the table behind Ava, just close enough to be heard. "Looks like someone's trying too hard today," Lexi muttered, just loud enough for Ava and everyone else to hear. Ava ignored it. She'd learned early that silence was often stronger than a comeback, but the snickers that followed made her cheeks burn. Still, she stayed seated, determined not to give them the satisfaction. Later that week, someone stuck gum in her locker vent. Then came the accidental spilt milk on her backpack. It would have been easy to say nothing, but Ava noticed the pattern. Each act was passive, yet targeted, the kind of quiet bullying that administrators dismiss as coincidence. Then came the day in gym class. The locker room was half empty. Ava was changing quickly, hoodie over her sports bra, when the girls cornered her. Lexi stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "Where'd you steal that sweatshirt?" she hissed. Ava blinked. "What?" Lexi tugged at the hem. "You don't belong in anything with Harvard on it. You think wearing this makes you smarter than us?" The others laughed. Ava stepped back, but they circled. "Let's see what's underneath, shall we?" Lexi grabbed the edge of the hoodie. Her nails dug in. Ava froze, heart pounding. In that split second, it wasn't just about the sweatshirt. It was about power. It was about race. It was about putting her in her place. But before they could pull, Ava shouted, "Let go, right now!" Her voice echoed through the tiled locker room. A teacher walked in, startled by the scene. The girls quickly backed off, pretending it was all a joke. "We were just playing," one of them said. But Ava wasn't laughing. Her hands shook, her eyes burned. And that night, for the first time since moving, she told her mother everything. She didn't expect what came next. 2 days later, the school gym buzzed with chatter. Assembly day. Most students expected another boring lecture about safety protocols. But when the principal took the mic, his face was pale. He cleared his throat. "Before we begin, we have a guest." The door opened, and Ava's mother stepped inside. Judge Marissa Langford, dressed in her courtroom black, eyes fierce and focused. Behind her was Ava's father. Yes, that Langford, the billionaire tech magnate whose face graced Forbes magazine covers. Whispers erupted. Judge Langford stepped up, took the mic, and began. "Good morning. I'm not here as a parent. I'm here as a woman who has spent her life fighting for justice." The gym fell silent. She recounted what had happened to Ava. Not just the locker room incident, but the systemic bullying, the racial undertones, and the silent complicity of adults. "I have prosecuted hate crimes. I have sat across from victims who never had the power to speak up. But not today. Not in this school." Then she turned to the principal. "Your job is not to protect reputations, it's to protect children." Gasps filled the room. The bullies sank into their seats. Ava sat stunned. She had never seen her mother like this, commanding, unshakable. This wasn't about money. This was about truth, and everyone was listening. The investigation that followed was swift. The school board couldn't ignore the media coverage after footage of Judge Langford's speech hit social media. Interviews were conducted. Teachers were questioned. Security footage reviewed. The 3 girls were suspended. One faced expulsion. But it wasn't revenge, Ava felt. It was a relief. Finally, someone had said out loud what she'd been carrying alone, that racism doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in hallways, hides behind fake laughs, and gets dismissed as just teasing. In the weeks that followed, Ava walked through school not with fear, but with clarity. Her hoodie? She wore it proudly. Students who had once avoided her now nodded in solidarity. One even apologized quietly after class. That mattered most, not just the consequences, but the conversations that finally started. And Judge Langford, she returned to court, but not before organizing a racial equity program for Halston Creek schools. Ava's father funded a scholarship for underrepresented students pursuing law. Ava didn't ask for any of this. All she wanted was to belong. But sometimes belonging comes from refusing to shrink, from knowing your worth, even when others try to tear it away, because racism doesn't always come in loud slurs. Sometimes it comes in smirks and stolen dignity, and it takes courage to fight back. The real question is, how many other voices are still silent? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and fresh videos.